Hello, welcome to the TechHub.training Excel Logical Functions for Car Buying Challenge Solution. This video provides a brief overview of using logical functions, including if, ifs, nested if statements, as well as filtering. In this video, I will provide one solution to all 8 tasks, going into a little more detail on the more technical aspects of this challenge. And with that, let's get started. So I've opened up the challenge. I'll note now that I used the hide capability of Excel to only show the columns that I will be using in this video solution, but rest assured that they're still down there somewhere. For the first part of this challenge, you were supposed to use a logical function to return true or false, depending on if a specific car had a fuel efficiency of 28 or more. I did that by using the equal sign, setting my fuel efficiency cell, and testing whether it was greater than or equal to 28. And notice that this doesn't use the if, but it still returns true or false given the specific conditions. For the next part of the challenge, we used the if function to test, just to create more specific labels for this. So we're still testing if n2 is less than 28. If it is less than 28, then we return inefficient. Otherwise, we return efficient. And you could have structured this the other way, saying if n2 is greater than 28, then it's efficient. Otherwise, it's inefficient. And that would work just fine. The next part of the challenge was to basically the same thing, but with the price. So we used cell F2 and tested whether it was less than 17. If so, it was affordable. Otherwise, we had insufficient savings. And copied that down. For the next part of the challenge, this is where it got a little more complicated. We used the if and the and function to determine whether a car was both efficient and affordable. So within the if function, we set up the and, which simply tests any number of logical values that you give it, logical equations. So if R2 equals efficient, and if S2 equals affordable, and if both of those things are true, then the result of the function is true. And so once we close our and function and go back into the if, the value of true here is great choice. So if it's both efficient and affordable, we have a great choice car. Otherwise, we return think about it. For the price range, we used the ifs function to set up more specific buckets, if you will, regarding the price. First, I use the isBlank function to test if a certain value is blank, such as here in cell F4. If it is blank, then we return NA because we can't make a decision without the price. Next, we test if F2 is greater than 20. If so, there's no chance we can afford that car. I'll stop here and note that when doing these if or ifs functions to develop specific buckets that build off of one another, it's important to start at one extreme or the other. Here I've started with the higher extreme of the price range and worked down to the lower extreme, but you could have started the opposite way as well. And so once you get started, F2 is greater than 20, and then F2 is greater than 18, it's pretty easy to just keep going with that flow. Here, I've done the same task, just starting from the bottom and then working to the top of the range. But just to show that it works exactly the same. For the next part, we needed to develop better buckets about the fuel efficiency using nested ifs. And so we started with an if function to test if n2 is less than 20. If so, that car is considered poor fuel efficiency. If it wasn't less than 20, then we test if it's less than 25, meaning between 25 and 20. If so, that car is fair. Otherwise, we test if the value is less than 30. If it is between 30 and 25, then it returns good. Otherwise, meaning if the fuel efficiency was greater than 30, we return great. And then for my further analysis column, I tested column C2, which is sales in thousands, to see how popular a car was. And said that if sales in thousands were less than 50, then it's not very popular. If they're less than 100, so between 50 and 100, then it's somewhat popular. And if it's greater than 100, I consider that car to be popular. And now it's time to use some filters to make a decision and find our favorite car. So I'll use column T here and filter out the think about it cars. So we only have the great choice cars left. And then sort the price range here so that they're all in order. And this is why we use the numbers, so that it's easy to visually see which cars we have a better chance of buying. For me, fuel efficiency is very important, so I'll go ahead and filter out the good cars. And I also want a car that's more popular or more reliable, so I filtered out not popular cars. And that leaves me with 5 cars left to choose from, seen here. And of those 5 cars, my favorite is the Toyota Corolla.